Testing, testing, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Testing, 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 1 2 1 2 1 2. How do we sound tonight? Hopefully it's pretty good. Hopefully it's pretty good. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We'll wait for people to come into the stream, and then we'll get this show on the road. We'll get this show on the road. Make sure my messages dropped in. Excellent. Excellent. Alrighty. Alright, everything's going good. Going good. Let's see what we got going on here. Come on. Come on. Come over here. There we are. Alright. Refresh that page. Excellent. Stream's holding well. Come on. There we go. Perfect. Test this out. Make sure everything is okay. Give it a minute or so if people get into the stream. Alright. Before we start her up. So it looks like I just have myself in the stream currently. That is okay. Right. It looks good. Fix the mic. There we go. We're just going to give it a minute or two for people to start coming in. Hey, Toronto, how's it going? Thank you very much. I think the mic is holding pretty good right now. I think I have to tighten it down. It's running a little loose. Here's a bolt on the inside. Okay. I know there's a bolt on the inside for the mic. Okay. Hopefully it's going to be an hour stream today. I don't want to try to do an overrun. I want to keep it to an hour. Last Monday's was an hour and 45 minutes. That is not good. Way too long on the overrun. Way too long on the overrun. Come on. Get over here. Come on. Come on. There we go. Back to this one. Excellent. Excellent. To make sure this is okay. Test, test, test. And hopefully we'll get some people into the stream if they like wrestling, which is what today's stream is all about. I will start her up now since we have one person in. Thank you, Toronto, for heading into the stream. Hopefully more people will be coming in shortly. So this stream today, I'll just start talking because I want to make it an hour. This stream today is all about WrestleMania 34. It's going to be about, as you saw on the thumbnail, it's going to be about spoilers. It's going to be thoughts on it and surprises. My thoughts on WrestleMania 34. We have 2 people in chat right now. Hopefully more will jump in. If not, that's fine. I have no problem talking to one person. Hell, I'll even talk to myself. But that's okay. I thought because WrestleMania was yesterday, it was the biggest show that WWE puts on in their year, which is usually between March and April. I figured that would be a good thing to talk about. My original plan that I was going to do last week, which was going to be today's stream, I decided to push it back and do it next week, only because of the stuff for WWE that's happening right now. And I thought it'd be a good idea to do that. So check the stream real quick here, make sure everything is good. We're live and the stream is healthy, it says here, which is weird. It's orange. It's not dropping any packets, which is good, which I'm very, very happy about. It's not dropping any packets. Excellent. So WrestleMania 34 is in the books, and my thoughts on WrestleMania 34 was I thought it was a good WrestleMania. My personal opinion. Was it the best WrestleMania? No. I thought it was a good WrestleMania. In my personal opinion. I liked that. I thought it was very, very good. Toronto, did you see WrestleMania at all? Or did you leave? Probably left. That's okay. I'll give a couple more people, a couple minutes more for anybody else who's going to come into the stream. Hopefully we'll get some more people into the stream. We only have one person watching right now, which is me. Test, test, test. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Come on. What's going on? Come on. Really? There we go. Let's take a look over here. Excellent. Taking a look at the stream. Cool. Yeah, I'll give you my 2 bits on it. There's going to be a little bit of spoilers. I don't know how much of a wrestling fan you are, but there's going to be some spoilers about the show last night. So I'll give you my take on WrestleMania 34. I got all my notes here. I did take notes because I do a podcast bi-monthly, which will probably eventually be monthly. And myself and Admiral Akbar, who's a fellow subscriber of mine, him and I do the actual... I was as well. Him and I actually do the a wrestling podcast that we do every month. So I had to take my notes and my homework on the WrestleMania, so I got all my notes with me here. So WrestleMania 34 is in the books. And my thoughts on WrestleMania was, it was a long event. We're talking a 7-hour event. The kickoff show started at 5 p.m. and ran until, that ran for 2 hours, and then the real show started at 7 o'clock. Started from 7 to 12. So it was a 5-hour main event show, 2-hour pre-show. So, talking about the pre-show. Yeah, it was a very, very, very long event. My girlfriend actually watched it with me. It was a very, very, very long event. In my opinion, way too long. And for her to watch it with me, she watched about 3/4 of the show. So we have 3 people in chat. Thank you guys for coming in. Even if I have 2 people in chat, I have no problem talking about this. I think I want to give you guys my 2 bits about WrestleMania 34. But she knew the old school wrestlers. She knew people like Austin. She knew Rock. She knows Jericho. She knows those type of names. She doesn't know about all the newer people that are there in WWE now. She doesn't know like your Seth Rollins, your Dean Ambrose, your Roman Reigns. She doesn't know those sort of people. I'm a big wrestling fan itself. I just don't like WWE wrestling. I like all sorts of wrestling. I'm a fan of professional wrestling. I like New Japan Pro Wrestling. I like Ring of Honor, or even a little Impact TNA wrestling. But I'm a big fan of wrestling in general. Now, the kickoff show itself ran for 2 hours, and there was literally 3 matches on the kickoff show. The problem with the big kickoff show, in my opinion, was there was too much talking. There was way, way, way too much talking on that event. You had people that were talking. You had Otunga talking. You had Booker T talking. You had Renee Young talking. They are plugging the network, just pouring it down your throat, just making you gag on the network. There was video package after video package after video package. They had 3 matches. The first match I'll talk about now was about halfway into that 2-hour show. So about, I want to say an hour in, after doing all the video packages, or most of them, they had the first match was the men's Battle Royal, or the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Hey, I figured I'm going to do my breakdown talking about the actual pay-per-view. And then we'll add that to Friday's discussion. Like, we can reference back to this stream as well. So I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the pay-per-view. I thought it'd be a good thing to talk about. Switch the topic from what I was going to talk about to next week's stream. So basically, about an hour in, they had the Andre Giant Battle Royal, the men's Battle Royal, and it was very chaotic. I know Battle Royals can be very chaotic, but it was extremely chaotic. Even my girlfriend was having difficulties trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Yep, my first pre-show basically. I did pick up the network. I coughed up the $10. I highly recommend. There is a lot of value in the WWE network. I didn't think there would be a lot of value, but there was a lot of value in that network, and I was really surprised what they have there. I mean, they have a huge library of everything there, so I'm really happy I picked the network up. I'm probably going to keep it. It will actually help me doing the podcast. I did watch NXT. I actually really, really enjoyed the NXT show. I watched that live. I thought it was a really good show. Only 5 matches, though. But the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, my girlfriend actually had difficulties. She watched, like I said, 3/4 of the actual WrestleMania with me. She left around 10:30. after the John Cena piece, which I'll talk about shortly. So we have 4 people in chat. Awesome. So the men's battle royal, she had difficulties trying to follow the battle royal. I even had difficulties trying to follow what the hell was going on, all the action was happening, and then doing like a 2-piece, how they normally do it on SmackDown, where they'll have a screen within a screen, and they'll be having difficulty. It's very difficult to track the action that way. Yep, I would assume so, but I didn't have the network then, so I don't really know. I don't have a baseline to go with. But I just know that what I'm seeing now, I see a lot of content there. I've been watching the Cruiserweight Classic now. I'm about halfway through it. So the men's battle. Hey, Jay, how's it going, sir? We're just talking WrestleMania today. I figured it'd be a good topic to talk about since it was yesterday, April 8th, 2018. Of course, today is April 9th, 2018. I figured it'd be a good topic to talk about. And giving my thoughts, spoilers, and surprises about that pay-per-view. If you guys have not yet watched it, don't want to be spoiled, basically steer clear of the stream tonight, because I'm going to be talking all about that event. Myself and AA, Star Wars Collecting and Hobby, will be talking more about this on the podcast. So if you're a wrestling fan, stick around, absolutely. So we're just at the pre-show right now. I want to keep the stream to about an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes. I don't want to have a huge overrun. I mean, last week's stream was an hour and 45 minutes because people kept on popping into the stream. I didn't want to let it go. The men's, I keep saying inaugural. It's not the inaugural. That's the women's. The men's battle royal was very, very hectic. There was action all over the place. It was very, very hard to track. No, I only saw the Kenny Omega match. And I saw the Dalton Castle, Marty Scurll match. Those are the only 2 matches I've seen. I am going to be watching the rest of the pay-per-view sometime this week. Just haven't had a chance to yet. So, the men's battle royal is very, very hectic. My girlfriend had difficulties trying to track what the heck was going on. There was so much stuff happening. It was very, very chaotic. And that's what battle royals really are. It's extremely chaotic. If you're not familiar with what a battle royal is you have to throw people over the top rope. And then you get eliminated and you start whittling people down. Basically, the big turn happens when Matt Hardy is one of the last guys in the ring. The light goes black. Bray Wyatt pops in the middle of the ring. Both Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt had a big feud going on, which was the Ultimate Deletion a couple of weeks ago, and Bray Wyatt was not seen on TV ever since. So he wound up actually joining with Matt Hardy. They sort of hugged at the end, and your winner of the men's battle royal, the Andre Joint battle royal, is Matt Hardy, which is really, really cool. Now, if you guys are not familiar, the pre-show matches, meaning in this case for this WrestleMania, both battle royals, and they had a cruiserweight match, most likely will probably not be on the DVD. They do not include usually the pre-show on the DVD when it releases later in the year. The problem with that is that a lot of wrestlers, and this is one of the reasons why Neville is not seen on TV now, he got really, really upset. So did Austin Aries. They were on the pre-show, I think it was last year's, and they don't get any royalties if their matches are not on the DVD. So they were on the pay-per-view technically, but they didn't get the cut of the royalties, and that's why they were so upset. And I could see the reason why. You're going to get a huge payday and not get any residuals on top of it. So I think that's kind of bad. So the idea for the men's battle royal was anyone who really didn't have a match was thrown into the battle royal. Rusev was supposed to be in that battle royal, but he got pulled, and basically last week, basically a week before the pay-per-view, because of how well his merch sales are doing. They're doing so well with the Rusev Day stuff that he's making so much revenue on merch that WWE noticed, hey, this guy's making a lot of merchandise sales. We want to push him onto the normal card. And we'll talk about that in my notes, which I have all my notes right here. So in this situation, to go back to the the pre-show, Matt Hardy won the inaugural, I keep saying inaugural, the men's battle royal. Next, they had more packages that happened, and then they had the next match with Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali going for the Cruiserweight Championship. Now, this is kind of funny if you think about it. The last 2 big Cruiserweight champions they had on 205 Live have either A, quit, or B, been fired. So I'm thinking, is that kind of like a cursed belt? Much like the Madden curse. Anyone who's ever been on a Madden cover for the last, I don't know how many years, has gotten some type of injury or something happened to them. So far, for the last 2 champions, have actually even 3, because I think Austin Aries held that belt at one time. So Aries is gone, Neville is gone, and Enzo is gone. So the last 3 champions they had are all gone. Yep, it was Matt Eliminated Baron Corbin Baron won 2 years ago. I thought it was a good ending. I was very, very surprised. There was a lot of surprises, which I'm going to talk about definitely on this show. There was a lot of surprises on this pay-per-view, and I really, really liked it. So, as I said, Cedric against Mustafa Ali, it was an okay match. It wasn't the greatest match. I really wasn't looking forward to the match. I did like Mustafa Ali's entrance, though. He came out looking like, sort of like, I would say a high-tech version of Sub-Zero, kind of, sort of. Sort of like the old Glacier from WCW days back in the 90s. I did like how his outfit looked. It looked really, really cool. He had, like, imagine, like, the Sub-Zero face guard, but with neon lights flashing. And he had what looked like a repulsor beam from Iron Man that was flashing as well. It looked really, really cool. It's a really cool, neat look. I like the way it looked. Today's drink of choice is small cans of Dr. Pepper. So, big shout out to Dr. Pepper. I thought the match was okay. I had a feeling Cedric was going to win. I had my girl, I was telling Cedric's going to win, and I knew Cedric was going to win. It was an okay match. Again, more video packages. You had like maybe 15, 20 minutes at best left in that kickoff show, and then they finally put the women's match up. And I even told my girlfriend, I'm like, they better do something with that kickoff, with the women's inaugural Battle Royal. Of course, it was changed from the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal because of all the backlash that WWE got, mainly from Snickers, who was the actual people who was sponsoring WrestleMania 34. Yep. I wasn't a big fan of that match. I wasn't a big fan of that match. Not at all. Not at all. They gave it enough time. It was okay. I wasn't expecting too much. So Cedric is your new Cruiserweight Champion. Women's inaugural Battle Royal. My girlfriend and I complained about that immensely. Mainly because they kept cutting back and forth when you're watching this Battle Royal. I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, Star Wars, AA, I think it was either Mandy Rose or Liv Morgan. One of them has always been eliminated first. This time it was Carmella who got eliminated first. So it kind of broke her streak, because every time she was either the first one that was pinned in Elimination Chamber, she was either thrown out of the Royal Rumble. This time it was Carmella who got thrown out. So that was fine by me. I have no issues there. The biggest problem I had was the end of that match, only because they cut back and forth so much that I didn't even know that Naomi was in the match at one point. The announcers basically said that she went under the ropes sometime during the match. Yeah, she was eliminated third. Yep. But I didn't see Naomi go anywhere. She was just laying. I think the camera flashed really quick to Naomi laying by near the barricade. And I'm like, where the hell was she the whole time? The reason why I say this is because near the end of the match, Bayley chucked Sasha over the top rope. I was expecting like a double sort of eliminate themselves sort of thing. But the announcers, basically are waiting. Bayley says she's the winner after she chucked out Sasha. And then Naomi comes into the ring, and the announcers are like, well, she never went over the top rope. She went through the ropes. I'm like, well, when the hell did that happen? I mean, I was watching that full match, and I did not see at all Naomi go anywhere in that match. And a lot of people, a lot of wrestling, I would say podcasters, a lot of sites that are talking about that Battle Royal even mentioned the very poor production value in that match because you couldn't tell what was happening. So in that situation, Naomi was the inaugural Women's Battle Royal winner. I never saw her go over. I never saw her go through the ropes at all. But there was, I don't know if it was on my end, because I was watching it through the network. There were some issues with the network. Maybe it was the load they had. It was locking up a lot. So I don't know what was causing this lockup issue. So maybe it was just on my end, but I never saw it. So it is what it is. Eventually, 7 o'clock rolls around Eastern Standard Time, and we get to the actual pay-per-view. So let's go into it here. The kickoff match. Yep, I agree, Toronto. It was very, very weird. They intercut it too much. I didn't like it. The very first match was a triple threat match. It was Miz versus Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. Miz came out looking sort of like, I've never seen the anime before, but his gear, he wore the weird headband. I think it was from Naruto, it's called, where you have it's like this head bracelet with like a metal plate he had on. So it looked like he was a character from Naruto. Seth Rollins came out looking more like Sub-Zero than Mustafa Ali. His outfit looked really cool. He had these bright, let's say, bright blue, I won't say glowing, but sort of crystal looking contacts in his eyes. He looked very much like Sub-Zero. His gear set looked really, really cool. I really hope they make a WWE Elite figure of that outfit. I think it looked really cool with the blue contact eyes. I do like how he came out. Very, very surprised. I don't know. Maybe it was Finn Balor's decision. Maybe it was a decision between WWE and their constituents. But he came out supporting the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, LBGT community. He had his Finn Balor logo on with the rainbow colored design. So I don't know if he's in the community, so to speak, or they put him up to it, or he wanted to do it. I was very surprised. Oh, yeah, he looked like a walker from Game of Thrones. That's what I would say. Yeah, he looked like a White Walker. He had the bright blue eyes. That's what it looked like. He was supposed to be a walker from Game of Thrones. I disagree. His gear set, the way his eyes may have looked like that, but his outfit looked very much like Sub-Zero's gear. Very much like it. Yeah, White Walker. So I'm surprised Finn Balor didn't come out in his demon gear. I thought it would have been very, very cool for him to come out in the demon gear. Even when I was showing pictures of the way Finn looks in his demon gear to my girlfriend, she's like, oh my god, he looks super cool. I was hoping he would come out in that gear. I was showing a picture of it to her, and she's like, "Aw," because he came out with not anything wrong with the community, but she was expecting, because I'm hyping the demon gear, he never came out as the demon, which kind of stunk. Very, very good match. As I told Star Wars Collecting and Hobbies, he did not want to believe me that near the end of the match, in case people who are wrestling fans didn't know, at one time Seth Rollins' Curb Stomp now has been renamed from Curb Stomp. They actually gave it a name, but they don't really reference it a whole bunch. They always call it the Stomp. It was banned because Vince McMahon thought that anyone can do it. Like, imagine if Stephanie did it to, or if Shane did it to Stephanie. It's a very easy move to do, and that's why they banned it. They brought it back several months ago, so he actually got the Stomp back. It's actually called the Blackout. That's the name of the Stomp. That's what it's actually called. So, near the end of the match, basically, I think it was Miz on the ground, or Seth on either. It was Miz on the ground and Finn on top of him, or vice versa, and Seth stomps them both down. One guy flips off, and then Seth stomps, I think it's Miz, to get the pin. And he is now your new Intercontinental Champion, which is what I exactly called on our pre-event, saying, yeah, that's the name of the move, the Blackout. That's what I actually called it for our predictions for the WWWP podcast last week. I thought it was a very good match. Very, very good match. Very, very entertaining. They gave it enough time. I was really happy with that match. Next match in was, I would say, a very good match. Something I was very, very surprised about. My girlfriend actually loved that match. I thought it was a very, very good match. It was Charlotte. It was basically Champ versus Streak. It was Charlotte versus Asuka. Asuka, if you're not familiar, has held the belt. I think they said something like 500 days. Something ridiculous like that. So she was the longest person who's undefeated in WWE, longer than Goldberg. So it was very, very cool. So the match told a very, very good story. Charlotte came out in basically Ric Flair's music pops first. And she's sitting on this big sort of golden throne flanked by like guys in Spartan gear with the big Spartan helmets that you would see, very much like out of 300. Imagine the guys out of 300. Each one of them are on the side of this big, huge throne. And it's like a golden throne. And she comes off the throne, and then her music hits, and she walks the ring. Asuka comes out with a kind of like a sparkly mask, where she normally comes with her mask. I thought her entrance would be a lot more grand. It really, yeah, a huge amount of production value. Big time. Big time. So the match they had was very, very good. You had Asuka working on Charlotte's arm for a good portion of the match. Eventually, there was some nasty, nasty arm bars, nasty submissions. Very, very good match. Near the end of the match, basically, if you're not familiar with Charlotte, she is Ric Flair's legitimate kid. She's probably one of the hardest working female wrestlers, I would say, on the roster. She has the genetics for wrestling. She is the daughter of Ric Flair, so I mean, she has the pedigree. The pedigree. That's what I'm looking for. She definitely has the pedigree in being Ric Flair's kid. Eventually, she has a move. If you're not familiar with wrestling now, is she does a figure four. Everybody knows Ric Flair figure four. Woo! Everybody knows it. But she does something called what's called the figure eight, where she can literally do a back bridge. Meaning, imagine you doing a bridge. You're bridging backwards with your hand, and you're making your body bow like this. So you still have the figure four on, but your body is bowed like this, like a curve. That's what she calls the figure eight. That's her version of the figure four. Eventually, she gets Asuka in. Before I get there, one of the big spots was that Charlotte does a moonsault, a very, very good moonsault. Usually a twisting moonsault, like she kind of curls, like twirls. She actually did it and landed right into a triangle choke from Asuka. So imagine she flips backwards and Asuka basically just pops her up as she's coming in and hooks her into a triangle choke. So a very, very cool spot. People thought she'd go out right then and there. Near the end of the match, she gets Asuka in the figure four and bridges the figure eight. Her arm is so messed up where she can't plant both her arms down. She literally takes, you see one arm up in the air because she can't put it down to brace herself. She literally holds her own arm, and she made Asuka tap. Very surprising. Absolutely surprising. And if you look at my notes here, I even have it listed right there. I don't know if you can see it. If I say Charlotte, won, with an exclamation point. So I was very, very surprised about that. I was calling it that Asuka would win. I know that Star Wars Collecting Hobbies, he believed it as well, that Asuka would win. I thought the streak would go much further, only because I heard from very reliable websites, web sources, that it's going to run for... She was supposed to hold the belt, beat Charlotte, go up until WrestleMania 35 to challenge Ronda Rousey. Excuse me. That was the actual intent from what I've heard. Apparently, they made some type of change, or they wanted to kill Asuka's streak for whatever reason. I think hindsight's 2020, and I think it might have been a good idea, where she doesn't have this streak. But the problem is, if you take the streak away from Asuka, you lose some of that magic. What made her very, very special, because now no one has this undefeated streak like that ever again. So I thought, oh no, it was a very, very, very good match. If you guys have a chance to, I have 6 people in chat. Thank you guys for coming in. If you guys have never seen Charlotte wrestle or Asuka wrestle, definitely take a look at them either on a network or on YouTube. They're very, very good in the ring. So moving on, after that match, we had a 4-way match. It was Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode versus Jinder Mahal versus Rusev. Let me think of all the people who came out. I thought Rusev would have his tank again. He did not. He had Aiden English introduce him like he normally does. No difference with Jinder Mahal. Roode has his typical entrance, and Orton had his as well. So there was no fancy... Yep, there was no fancy real entrance on this one. Some guys had really big entrances. Some people did not. This one, there was no fancy real entrances for these 4 guys. I thought he was supposed to have the tank. He mentioned, Rusev, I think on Twitter, even mentioned the tank, and I don't know why he didn't come out with the tank. So I don't know. They had a pretty good match. They gave it enough time. I was very much hoping and pulling for Rusev. I really, really wanted Rusev to win. Orton did RKO a few people. Very sloppy RKO to, I think, Rusev. He hit Rusev with an RKO. Very, very sloppy. He hit Aiden English because Aiden English just walked into the ring. He drilled him with it. It was very, very good. Bobby Roode hit the glorious DDT. Another false finish. There was a kick out. Eventually, Jinder Mahal hit the Colossus, I think on Rusev, I believe, and pinned Rusev. So Jinder Mahal is your new United States champion. That was for the U.S. Championship match. And the Charlotte versus Asuka was streak versus title, if you wanted to know. They gave the match enough time. I don't think they gave it too much time. It was good. There was a lot of good spots on the match. Rusev was extremely over with the crowd. People loved Rusev, and even my girlfriend's like, he's getting a lot of chants. I'm like, yeah, people love Rusev Day. It got over. It really got over. It's one of the biggest merch sales items on WWE right now. It's making him the most money. That's why he was in that match. So I thought it was a good match. I think the reason why, from what I've heard, again, this is all rumor and speculation, but I think the reason why they gave Jinder the belt is because there's going to be an upcoming event, I think in the next month or 2 months, in Saudi Arabia. So they want to have Jinder with a title, and that's why they gave him the U.S. Championship. That's what I think is what happened. On that event, you're going to have the largest ever Royal Rumble. It's going to be a 50-man Royal Rumble. The largest they had at one time several years back was a 40-man Royal Rumble. So this one's going to be a 50-man Royal Rumble. They're going in with Jinder with the U.S. Championship. And there was some news that I'll talk about near the end of the stream of a new signing or a re-signing that happened. So we'll talk about that near the end here. So moving on was probably one of the big matches, probably match of the night, in my opinion. It was Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. Triple H and Stephanie came out on big, I would say like, you call them tri-wheels or the three-wheel motorcycles, whatever they're called. They had like 6 of them lined up down this big ramp. And they all came down on these ramps. Both Stephanie and Triple H were driving one of these 3-wheel motorcycles. It looked really, really cool. He was wearing like a big skull mask because he is the King of Kings. Stephanie looked really, really good as well. I mean, for her age, she's looking, and has 4 kids. Looks very, very good. So the entrance was really, really cool. Eventually got in the ring. Angle comes out wearing his, typical Angle gear. I think he had his medals on, I believe. And Ronda came out as well with the Piper and wearing the kilt. She's wearing like Hot Rod's kilt. I don't know if it wasn't his real kilt, but she came out wearing a kilt. That match, in my honest opinion, I thought would be a piece of garbage. I thought it'd be crap. I really thought it'd be a bad match. I was happily and surprisingly shocked in that match. Very, very good match. There was rumors that Ronda was supposed to use some type of weird Samoan drop thing, not use the armbar. I was misled, and I'm happy. Star Wars Collecting Hobby was correct on that one, that Ronda would be using an armbar. During the match, at one point, because there was a lot of back and forth, there was times where they would not allow Ronda to get a tag. There would be shenanigans, pulling her off the ring apron, distracting the referee, things like that. And eventually she got the hot tag and came in. And they were brawling all over the ring. It lasted for about 20 minutes, I believe it was. I thought the match would have maybe went 3. I thought it would be going at least 3 minutes. I was happily wrong. But the match was great. Absolutely a great match. Ronda was a little clunky, a little green in the ring. You can see it. Some of her throws just didn't look good. There was not a lot of snap to them. I believe she was trained, one of the trainers was Brian Kendrick. I believe got her into ring shape. From what I've heard. So, I mean, Brian has trained a lot of people. So, I mean, I'm very, very happy from her performance. She did do a good job. We have 5 people still on stream. Thank you guys for sticking around. So, I thought it went really, really well. There was near the end of the match, there was a point in the match where both Ronda and Triple H were in the ring. And usually a mixed match, you have a guy and a girl on both teams. The guy has to wrestle the guy, the girl has to wrestle the girl. That's how it normally works on a mixed match sort of challenge. This one, however, Ronda got into basically Triple H's face and started throwing punches at him. Her look isn't, I can't explain. She just looks, eh. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's too much makeup. I don't know if it's not enough makeup. I don't know. I wish I could tell you. She looks sort of plain Jane. She looks like the girl next door. I don't know. Maybe that's her appeal. Maybe that's what they're trying to do with her. I don't know. Excuse me. But there was a point where Triple H and Ronda got into a brawl, and basically Ronda was doing like these quick little jabby punches, and Triple H is sitting there just trying to duck and dodge and weave, and I mean it was very, very good to see them brawling. And near the end of the match, however, basically what happens is Ronda gets Stephanie in an armbar and starts. I mean, it looked like she wrenched it pretty tight. Maybe that's just how Ronda put it on, and Stephanie was just selling it really, really well. But it looked nasty. It didn't look like a typical cross arm breaker. For you who are not familiar with wrestling moves, a cross arm breaker is literally you have someone's arm across your chest, and you have your legs across their body, and you're holding the arm straight out. That's what's called a cross arm breaker, and you basically push up with your hips and your pelvis, and you push pressure down as you lift up. That's what's called a cross arm breaker. That's what I thought she would use. It wasn't a cross arm breaker. It was a nasty, nasty, nasty arm lock. It looked very painful. It didn't look like it was working this. It looked like a nasty shoulder lock. That's what it looked like to me. It was. I mean, it looked. It looked like her shoulder was going to pop out. It looked really, really bad. But it was a very good match. I like how it ended. Went about 20 minutes, and the right team won. It was Ronda and Kurt Angle. I was very, very happy with that. And if you guys are curious, Angle did do the triple Germans like he normally did back in the day. As I think it was as Ronda put the armbar on Stephanie, Kurt Angle put the ankle lock on Triple H, and they were trying to prevent each other from tapping, which was kind of cool. So that was a good thing. Next match we had, which was for the Tag Team Championships on SmackDown. It was New Day versus Usos versus the Bludgeon Brothers, which is Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. Or Rowan and Harper now. They cut their names. Why? I don't know. This match, in my opinion, they did not give enough time to. And this is the point where I had issues with the network and it was locking up really bad. I had to basically cut my stream and restart the application on my TV to get it to work because it was locking up. And the only thing I really saw was the ending of the match. That's how much it was locking up. And I saw the Bludgeon Brothers win. So I can't really go into detail how the match went and how it escalated because I didn't see the full match. I just know who won. So it was the Bludgeon Brothers who won. I know that Vince McMahon was extremely behind the Bludgeon Brothers gimmick. He actually helped produce a lot of their vignettes. So I thought it was really, really cool. I didn't even mention, I just looked back at the chat, I did mention my girlfriend that the Seth Rollins' eyes, he looked like a White Walker. I did mention that. I remember that now. So I wish I could have saw more of that match, but unfortunately the stream cut out on me. During this, I think a match or two before, John Cena was actually sitting in the ring, the ringside area, because he said that he's been trying weeks and weeks and weeks to try to get a match with The Undertaker. Calling him out. WrestleMania 33, The Undertaker was beaten in this case, Roman Reigns. Oh, you had the same issue too? Locked up for you there as well. Okay, so it wasn't just me. Cena was in the audience saying he'd go as a fan if he did not have a match. A ref ran down a match or two prior to this and said that The Undertaker's here, so he ran back to get his gear. Cena's music hits after the New Day, Usos, and Bludgeon Brothers match, and he's basically looking for Taker. There's a blackout, and Elias walks to the ring and starts singing. My girlfriend's like, who the hell is this guy? I'm like, he's Elias. So Elias does his bit with Cena, and I basically ended as a no contest because there really wasn't a match. There was no pinfall, no nothing. Cena, is disheartened, begins walking to the back, and I was rather surprised. He's about halfway up the ramp. You hear gong, blackout, and you see blackout. I don't even think the gong even hit. You just see blackout. In the middle of the ring, you see Undertaker's hat and his trench coat, because that is what he left in the ring at WrestleMania 33. Now, for wrestlers' traditions, when they retire from wrestling, they usually leave an item in the ring, usually the wrestling boots. That's what they normally do. Taker left his coat and his hat. There was some glorified fancy pyrotechnics or whatever, or maybe it was on screen. There was 4 bolts of lightning hit the middle of the ring, and there's a fire that happens on Taker's coat and his hat, where you see it. And then blackouts again, and then his coat and his hat is gone. Then you hear a gong. Cena pushes back to the ring, and you start seeing the smoke come in. And then Taker walks from the back out, taking about 5 minutes to get to the ring. I mean, this is the old school Undertaker. Very slow, very deliberate, very slow walking to the ring. Very, very slow. They choreographed it very cool. I did like the way they did it. Very cool effect. Now, does this mean he's permanently unretired? I don't know. This is what it symbolizes here. So I don't know. Basically, it was literally a burial. Kind of a pun there, but literally a burial. We saw a lot of old school Taker in this match. It's lots of punches. We saw typical Undertaker to the snake eyes. He picks the guy up and throws him into the top rope. No problem, gentlemen. We're just talking WrestleMania 34. No biggie, sir. He threw Taker threw Cena into the top turnbuckle, which is Snake Eyes, something he did years ago. He grabs Cena's arm and walks to the top rope and jumps off. And my girl's looking at me going, how old is he again? And I looked up on online. I said, he's 53 years old. He's like, wow, 53-year-old guy could do that. Yep, he still has it. He could still go. Near the end of the match, basically Cena he starts his 5 moves of doom. The double shoulder blocks, the spinning clothesline, drop move, the 5 knuckle shuffle, the attitude adjustment. Those are the 5 moves of doom. And he did the double shoulder block, picked up Taker and dropped him. Actually, he picked up Taker and dropped him, and hit him with the 5 knuckle shuffle, ran to the far edge of the ropes, and Cena Taker sat up. And literally Cena was like, whoa! Probably. I have a feeling there'll be a rematch. Eventually, Taker gets up, choke slam Cena, tombstone pile driver, pins him, 1, 2, 3, middle of the ring, clean, burial, literally a burial. Cena got squashed, and literally, I would say the entrance took longer than the match, in my opinion. I think his entrance took longer than the match, but it was cool seeing Cena, absolutely. Next match we had, if I'm correct here, I could be out of order, but I think the next match was AJ Styles and Nakamura. This was touted as, basically he was a jobber in that one. AJ Styles versus Nakamura. This was supposed to be a dream match. If you're not familiar, both AJ Styles and Nakamura met 2 or 3 years ago in Wrestle Kingdom. I believe it was 9 or 10, which was in Japan. Nakamura at that time was the Intercontinental Champion in NJPW. And they had a hell of a match in Japan. Probably one of the best matches you'll ever see. This match, however, did not live up to the expectations of a lot of people. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Cool. I really enjoyed this match. Was it the best match? No. It looked like Styles was moving a little slower than normal. Now, I don't know if that was just jitters or because I mentioned it on the WWWP podcast that he's wrestling hurt. He does have a knee injury. And I was predicting that my gut was telling me I wanted AJ to win, but myself and Star Wars Collecting Hobbies we predicted that Nakamura would win. Vince McMahon has a big issue with foreigners. He doesn't like them as champions. He doesn't like them as someone who are mouthpieces or people that can get pushes in his company. Very few guys that were in WWE has gotten to the height of, let's say, a John Cena or a Roman Reigns or a Brock Lesnar, an AJ Styles. Foreigners never get pushed by WWE. Why? Because Vince McMahon doesn't like foreigners. And that's unfortunate. But that's his methodology and his mentality. Do I agree with it? No, I don't. So, in this match, it went really, really well. There was a lot of near falls in this match. There was a lot of cool spots in that match. I do like it. At one time, there was try to remember the match off the top of my head now. There was a spot we had where I think there was a really good calf crusher submission. AJ was rolling around with Nakamura, had it cinched in for a long amount of time. There was a lot of striking in the match. Looked really, really good. Again, AJ didn't look like he was moving at 100%. To the casual viewer, he looked like he normally would. To someone who's, I won't say a professional commenter at all, I'm not close to it. That's okay, but today's chat is all going to be about wrestling. So if you're not interested, gentlemen, you don't have to stay if you don't want to. But the stream all day for this stream is all going to be about wrestling. What was I? Yeah. So he didn't look like he was in like typical speed for AJ. He was running a little slow. But near the end of the match, it was a roll through of some type where basically AJ rolled through Nakamura somehow and ended. Okay, no problem, gentlemen. He rolled through and ended up into a Styles Clash position, and AJ hit the Styles Clash and pinned Nakamura. Very surprising. Very, very surprising. Caught me off guard. I was super shocked. I was like, whoa, 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 Basically, Nakamura at one point during this end piece takes the U.S. belt, excuse me, the heavyweight championship belt, because AJ Styles is the heavyweight champion, and basically kneels down and hands the belt, like presents the belt, like this, to AJ. It seems like very something like you would see in Japanese culture, like a show of honor and respect. And new ones, no new pops lately. He's basically kneeling down. So basically, Nakamura is kneeling on one knee, and he has the belt. And he hands it to him, and AJ kind of holds it. They kind of like go to do an embrace, and you see Nakamura pull his arm back, and he low blows AJ Styles. So AJ gets hit right in the groin and just doubles over. And Nakamura goes heel. I even have it listed right here in my notes if you guys want to see it right there. Nakamura heel turn. So Nakamura becomes a bad guy, a heel, a bad guy. So we see a more vicious version of Nakamura. Knee strikes, he gets thrown out of the ring, he gets dumped on the outside. Very, very nasty beatdown. I liked it a lot because people may not know, because he's known as the artist now. He has like sort of a Michael Jackson-esque gimmick. Because Nakamura's biggest inspiration was Michael Jackson and Freddie Mercury, if you're not familiar. Those were his big inspirations to build a Nakamura character in Japan. That was what he loved. He loves that type of culture. So in Japan, he was actually a bad guy for a long, long time. Nakamura was never a good guy. He was always a bad guy, and he was just that good as a bad guy. So it was a very good match. Where I say it's the best match. No. Nakamura. Nope. So I mean, it wasn't his best. It wasn't their best matches, but it was okay. It was an okay match. Of course, AJ can sell. AJ can make anything. He can have a match with a broom and make it look good. That's how good AJ Styles is. So then we probably get to the next match we have, I believe, was Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. Myself and both Collecting and Hobbies. Let me see if he's still in the chat. Hopefully he's still in the chat. Yeah, me and AA both agreed that Alexa Bliss would win this match. I'm not there yet. I'm working on it. I'm following them in order. I'm following in order the way the matches happened. I didn't miss any matches. I got them all. Miz, the triple threat for IC, Charlotte Asuka, the 4-way, Rousey, Rowdy, Stephanie, New Day, the Elias stuff. I'm not there yet. I'm going to get to them. I'm not there yet. That's going to be there in a second. So Alexa, as I said, Alexa and Nia had a good match. They had a lot of storytelling. I didn't think Nia Jax would win. I would get him. Yeah. He looks good. Nakamura looks good. And the weird thing, I think they had a documentary on WWE Network where he can actually talk English a lot better than his character does. So I don't know why they made him give this broken English gimmick to him, but from what I've heard, he could talk English. He can pronounce it pretty well. So in the end of the match, Nia Jax actually beat Alexa Bliss. I was rather surprised they went this road. Maybe because they don't want to have the whole bully thing happening. They want to have the person who's being bullied because they make fun of her weight. For the Looney Tunes, I like the Elmer Fudd, and I like the... For which one? I would get the Elmer Fudd and the Opera Bugs, if you want my opinion. The Nia Jax thing was really, really cool. I was happy that Nia won. I think it was the wrong person who won. I think Alexa should have had the belt still. We have the Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Bryan got attacked. The first, probably, I wouldn't doubt that. Bryan got attacked the first 15-20 seconds of the match and got wiped out for a good 10-15 minutes of the match. And mind you, Shane McMahon the prior couple weeks had diverticulosis, which is a stomach colon infection. The same thing that sidelined Brock Lesnar for many, many years in UFC. He had this sort of injury, and he has a bad hernia. And he actually supposedly got cleared, but he looked like he was really, really hurt. He might have been selling it. He actually did what was called the coast to coast, where he had a guy hanging from or put in the corner of one side of the ring. He climbs up to the turnbuckle on the other side of the ring on the same side. So you have a guy here and a guy here. And he does a drop kick on this side to this way. So he flew through the air, mind you, with a messed up guts on the inside, and did this drop kick to Sami Zayn. Eventually, a save happens. Bryan gets into the ring, and he starts doing his kicks, his running kicks. We didn't see a whole lot of Bryan in the match. It seemed like they were trying to protect him, maybe because he just had a lot of ring rust. Maybe he wasn't physically really ready yet, possibly, I don't know. Or maybe it was just to basically build the crowd up for the big hot tag. It could have been. But at the end of the match, I was very, very surprised. Myself and Admiral Akbar, again, we both guessed the other way around. I was guessing, and I believe he was guessing, it would be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn would win. But they had Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon win, which that was very, very surprising. Now the big weird thing of the night. This is kind of one of the big surprises next to the main event. Why this happened, I don't know. Excuse me. Why this happened, I don't know. Near the beginning of the match, it was the Bar, which was Sheamus and Cesaro. Came out on like a New Orleans float. They had like Mardi Gras beads they were throwing out to the fans because it was done in New Orleans. So I see why they did that. They did this whole gimmick where they came out with the Bar stuff. They hit the ring. Braun Strowman won a couple weeks back a Battle Royal tournament to be the #1 contender for the tag team titles, but he never said who his partner was going to be. They were forcing a partner on him. A lot of dirt sheets were saying it could have been Big Show. A lot of people were saying Samoa Joe. I was thinking maybe even Neville, maybe even James Ellsworth. They could have done something. Oh, you said Daniel? Okay. I thought I was thinking Kevin Owens on that one. I couldn't remember our predictions. They could have even did something silly where Braun could have said, "Hey, the first person who gets into this ring will be my tag team partner," and the whole locker room could have came out, and it could have been a weird, silly brawl, and somehow the guy who's owing like 180, I can't remember what his name is. Maybe Star Wars Collecting Hobby can help me with that guy's name. The guy comes out with a cane. Kurt Hawkins, that's who it is. He could have got thrown into the ring, which would have been very, very funny. That would have been super funny. And to have him maybe get the pin would have been super, super hilarious. You would have gotten a lot of pop for that. But the weird thing happens here where Braun is going, Kurt Hawkins. Braun starts talking to the WWE Universe that who wants to be my tag team partner? I'm going to get someone from the crowd. So for about 5 minutes, he gets out the ring and starts looking around the crowd to try to find somebody. And eventually, he finds literally a 10-year-old kid. I do not joke with you. I think he's 11 years old, grabs an 11-year-old kid who's a plant. People were thinking he might have been a Make-A-Wish kid. He said, "What's your name, little boy?" And his name was Nicholas. So he takes this little kid. So imagine, let's say, a kid who's, let's say, 3 foot, 4 foot tall, scared to death, brings him through ringside, puts him on the stairs, and says, "All you have to do is sit here." So Braun is trying, he's going against the tag team champs, Cesaro and Sheamus and Cesaro, going against both guys, mind you. Near the end of the match, I was going to get that in a second. Near the end of the match, basically Braun is hurt, he's crawling to the ring, and he tags Nicholas, and the place blows. The little kid is scared, completely scared senseless. He gets in the ring, and he's looking around, and looks to Braun, because Braun's sitting, stands up for about a minute or so to catch his breath. That's basically why they did that. And tags Braun back in. Eventually, it ends with a power slam from Sheamus, and it ends with a power slam from Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman power slams, I believe it was Sheamus, or Sorry, one of the two guys. I think it was Cesaro. power slams him, and both Nicholas and Braun Strowman are your Raw Tag Team Champions. As Collecting Hobbies announced, it was one of the referees' son, John Patson's son. That's who the kid was. He basically has the belt. They gave him the belt. So I have not yet watched Raw tonight. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm going to watch that after the stream. But it was very, very silly, very, very weird. I even have a note here on my notes if you want to take a look at it. I mentioned a note right there. Sheamus and Kid, WTF. Why they did that, I don't know. I don't know why they went that angle. You could have gone so many different directions. But why they went this way, I don't know. Were they hoping for that much heat? Were they hoping the WWE Universe would hate it that much? I don't know. I don't know why they went in that road, that direction. It was very, very weird. I don't know why. They could have done so much more. Another person that was supposed to be his partner was rumored to be Rey Mysterio. So, I mean, you could have had Neville, you could have had Rey Mysterio, you could have had Samoa Joe, you could have had Big Show, you could have had the first guy who hits the ring. They could have done so many things, but they went in that direction. Why? I don't know. I wish I could give you an answer. I don't know. And then the final match of the night, perfectly, we're getting 6 minutes before the end, is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal Championship belt. It's a big red title belt. I was very, very surprised by this match. They gave them a decent amount of time, which I thought would be a squash. They didn't. Okay. Yeah, they'll probably do something stupid. But I'm going to be watching it after the stream. I was thinking, and everybody else was thinking, Roman Reigns was going to win the belt here. Only because they were building this match for a full year. And people were expecting, because of all of the hype with Dana White being at ringside there, he was actually there at ringside, him talking to Dana White in whatever city they were in about a month ago. Everyone thought he would show up there, and people were expecting Brock to leave to go back to UFC. This was a brutal match, but the fans hated it, and I didn't like it as well. My girlfriend did not see the Daniel Bryan match. She did not see the Alexa Bliss match. She did not see the AJ Styles match. She did not see the Bar match. She saw up to Cena and Taker. So she missed about 1, 2, 3, 4. She missed 5 matches. So she didn't see those matches, which I'm going to get her caught up to those ones. But it was basically German suplex, F5. German suplex, F5. German suplex, F5. Brock Lesnar hit Roman Reigns until the finish with 5 F5s. He hit him with, I think, 6 German suplexes. That was the entire match. Brock hit a knee at one point in the match. There was a couple spears by Roman, several Superman punches by Roman. Near the end of the match, they took a play out of their old book. They decided to use I think it was SummerSlam, I believe it was, with Orton and Brock, where Brock took off his gloves and began to hit Roman with his forearm, and would be busted. Either Roman bladed too deep, or he legitimately busted him open with his elbow and gashed right here. I mean, there was a gash, literally, guys. I don't kid, about this long, literally where my hand is, this long, or it might have been here or down further, but the gash was literally like hold on, I'll get it in camera here. Hold on. Right, it was about that long. It was about I would say a gash literally that long. I think Roman might have bladed, because there was a part in the match where Roman either rolled over or it cut, and when he rolled up, and you saw some blood there. So his face just started gushing blood. They call it the Crimson Mask. Also, if you're not familiar with wrestling, they call it when a wrestler gets color. It was not a blood capsule, dude. Not at all. It was either a blade job or it was getting busted open hard. It was not a blood capsule in any way, because it wasn't in his mouth. It was up in his head. Unless he had it, like, ingrained underneath his skin. But he got busted open or bladed. It was one of the two. One of the two. It was no blood capsule. Yep. They might have, but there was sure as hell blood there. So he had a bloody face. I mean, literally his whole face was covered in blood. If it was a blood capsule, the rest would have never put gloves on. All the rest were coming around the ring. They all started putting gloves on. That would tell me that it's legit blood. They wouldn't wear it just for the sake of doing it. So there was blood everywhere. Roman was just covered in blood. Roman hits 2 big spears against Brock, and then Brock hits one last F5 and pins Roman middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, middle of the ring. Near the end of the match, the fans were chanting, "This is awful," because the match was getting so bad. So bad. I hated this match. It was horrible. You had 2 guys throwing the same 2 moves back to back. German F5, Superman punch, spear, back to back, move for move. That's all they were doing. 2 moves at a time. That's all they were doing. Yep. Yeah, there was still a cut. There was still a cut there. There was still a cut there. If you put pressure on a cut, after about 30, 40 seconds, it will stop bleeding. It will stop bleeding. He was covered in blood. If you have a blood capsule, you have no way to attach it to your skin. Unless it's under his skin somehow and he cut it under his skin. But you can easily see that on someone's face if they had some type of blood capsule. Usually you do a blood capsule if it's in the mouth. So if you are getting, let's say you're getting hit in the mouth and the mouth explodes, that's how. Yeah. I won't say Dr. Rook. It's just, if you think about it logistically, that's how you have to do it. Usually a blood capsule usually would be in the mouth area. You bite down on it, and that's cause it to gush out. If you have it here, you can see it. They did say that months and months ago when Kevin Owens headbutted Vince McMahon, he prepped himself earlier. Basically, he was picking at his skin. He had stuff on it, so he would be able to be opened up really easily. It could have been something simple as that. Yeah, he took off his gloves. I mean, I'm smelling a blade job, but it looked really bad. I mean, it looked horrible. Even Taz commented on it, I think today. Either it was a bad blade job or he got busted open the hard way. One of the two. But it looked really bad. Really, really, really bad. He could be playing us as a mark. Now, here's a big thing near the end of the match, though. People were surprised because were we just getting called out as marks? Were we getting basically just worked like everybody else, thinking, well, what does this mean now? Brock re-signed with WWE. People were predicting he'd go to UFC, which would end his contract. His contract ends I think it's the day of WrestleMania, or the day after WrestleMania is where his contract ends. He re-signed his contract. That's what I was getting at near the beginning of this stream. So that was WrestleMania 34 as a whole. I thought it was a good show. I did think it was a good show. Was it the best WrestleMania? I don't think so. It went too long. Like I said, 7 hours is a long, long show. But I thought it was a good show nonetheless. I definitely enjoyed it. I had fun watching it. Again, wasn't the best show ever, but I really, really had fun watching it. Again, it was a good show. Anybody else want to talk about wrestling stuff? We'll give it another maybe 5 minutes, and I'll cut the stream. What did you think, AA? Did you like it? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good. I thought it was a good show. In my opinion. I had fun with it. Next Monday? Okay. I can see that. No spoilers, dude. I'm gonna be watching it on my DVR in a second. Anybody else want to talk about the pay-per-view or WWE? Oh, you got another couple minutes, and then I'll cut the stream today. I decided to do this stream so you guys know. The one I had originally planned for today is going to be next week. I decided to do this one this week because of the WrestleMania, which was just yesterday. And I'm going to be talking about this same thing in another 4 days. So I figured, why not talk about it now? So I figured it'd be a good idea to talk about it now. Because it is my stream, I just figured, what the hell, why not? So anything else you guys want to talk about before I cut the stream? We'll give it another minute or two. Definitely going to be this Friday stuff for WWP. It's going to be really good. It's going to be a good thing. It wasn't the worst WrestleMania, but not the best. I agree. He is getting a Funko. He's getting a pop. Oscar's getting a pop. Jeff Hardy's getting a pop. I believe Vince McMahon's getting a pop, and he's getting a Chase version as well. I know that Bullet Club are getting pops. I know both Nick and Matt Jackson are getting pops. I know that Kenny Omega's getting a pop. I don't know about Hangman Page, and I don't know about Marty Scurll. I hope they do. I'm going to be getting them regardless, but I think that'd be cool. But they are making more WWE pops. All right, guys. So I think that's it for tonight. I'm going to cut the stream now. I want to thank everybody who came into my WrestleMania 34 both spoilers, thoughts, and surprise video. I had fun doing it. I wanted to talk about WrestleMania 34. Glad you liked it, Toronto. I'm happy I kind of give you kind of a breakdown of what happened with the show. There's more to talk about for the actual WrestleMania itself. I wanted to give you guys kind of the highlights. Definitely take a look at the WWWP podcast. Yep, Jake's getting a pop, Jackie, absolutely. Yep. He actually has a normal one and a Chase one. There is no difference between it sculpt-wise. The difference is, I believe, his pants. That's the only difference. And I have to get that one because Jake is one of my favorite wrestlers. I'm definitely going to be getting Jake. One of my favorite guys of all time. Love me some Jake. So Jackie, if you came into the stream late, it was all about WrestleMania 34. This will be going up as a VOD probably in about 30 minutes. If you want to take a look at it, you're more than welcome to. I broke down pretty much my thoughts and experience with WrestleMania 34 and my feelings about it. No, I have not. Not seen the Battle Pack yet. I did see the Festival of Friendship, though, which was at Toys R Us. Which was $50. Still 10% off is only $4 and change. The snake is the same, I believe. I think it's the same exact snake. I didn't see a difference in the snake. Maybe my picture wasn't good. But the snake looked the same to me. But I only saw a picture that was like this big. So it might have been hard to notice. I know that the pants were different colors. Because as far as when he was wrestling as Jake, when Jake was really wrestling, he only really had two snakes at one time. He had Damien, and then he had, what was the name of it? He had Damien, which was his original snake. And then I think it was Lucifer, which was the King Cobra. I believe it was a King Cobra he had. I think that was Lucifer. The newer Damien was actually yellow. It was a yellow python. Yep, I watched the Hall of Fame. Not all of it, though. Bits and pieces of it. I watched Goldberg stuff, which was 30 minutes long. Wow. I mean, he was the main event. I could see why, but he went on for a long, long time. A long, long time. Okay, guys. So with that being said, I'm going to cut the stream. I want to thank everyone for coming into the stream tonight. Star Wars Collecting Hobbies, you and I will have a talk about this next Friday. Or this coming Friday. Yeah, he was. So that's it, guys. I'm going to be cutting the stream in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thanks for coming in, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.